It's turkey season, finally. I'm Chris with Afflictor Broadheads, and today we're going to unpack my small turkey vest. Stay tuned. Well, I'm super excited because it is finally turkey season. Turkeys are my passion. It's what I love the most, and we have some awesome turkey content that's going to be dropping for you over the next few weeks. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be really, really unusual and neat stuff dedicated specifically to turkeys and turkey hunting. But today we're going to get into my vest, which I'm getting made fun of here today by the guys because they're having trouble lifting it. Yes, it's a little heavy, but I like to be prepared, and my passion is taking other people turkey hunting, youth hunts, disabled, friends, family, it doesn't matter. I want to take somebody turkey hunting all the time during season, and so I like to be prepared, maybe overly prepared. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you some of the things I have and the reasons I have them, and hopefully there'll be something in here that helps you out. So first, let's just talk about the vest itself. There's lots of different vests. There's giant oversized vests like mine. It is just a behemoth old Primos vest handed down to me by one of my best friends. I love this vest because literally I will have over 50 pounds of gear in here for the day, including food and tripods and everything else. Most turkey vests will have a cushion of some sort. For a guy like me, these are useless. I'm good for about 10 minutes on this seat and my legs are numb, my feet, my butt, everything hurts. So I'm not a huge fan of most of these seats. Now, some of the new turkey vests, of course, have beautiful, comfortable seats, but still, I go numb after a bit. So I like to carry a chair with me. And when I say turkey seat, I really like lounge seats. And I know it's extra weight, it's something else to carry, but let's face it, when it comes to turkeys, if you're not comfortable, if you're not patient, if you're moving, if you got to keep bringing your leg out because it's numb, moving around, you can blow it on a silent, stealthy bird every time, even at long distances, by making those movements. So I really am a fan of any of the nice, low-sitting lounge chairs. Now, these are specifically beneficial for kids. You got to keep kids comfortable. I love these chairs. They can sit back, they can relax. If they're tired, they can take a nap. It doesn't matter as long as they're comfortable. And the other really great thing about having this type of a lounge type chair low to the ground is things are close to the ground, they're readily available, and also for the youth, it doesn't matter if I'm using a shotgun or a crossbow, I'm always going to have them on some type of monopod, bipod, tripod, already with that weapon at rest, ready to go. All I want that kid or a new hunter to be able to do, they're already down, all I want them to do is get seated and squeeze the trigger. No extra movement. And that type of chair really lends to that type of hunting when you're out in the open running and gunning. In my turkey vest, I'll always have something extra for the kids to rest on, extra for a POV camera or a small handy cam, but I really like to carry just a shooting stick, a monopod, a bipod, something that's really adjustable, really fast, because once, if you're running and gunning and you got a bird that answered, you want to get your youth hunter or your hunter down, get them comfortable, and get them situated fast, adjusted, and ready to go, because you don't know how fast that bird's going to come in sometimes. So whether you're solo hunting or hunting with somebody else, it's just really handy to have that. When I run and gun, I also carry extra camo. I like to have some folded up camo fabric. This is one of the bush in a bag camo systems from years ago. These are very nice. If you have a ghillie poncho or anything like that, it's always handy to have something extra that you can throw over yourself, build a makeshift blind, whatever you want to do. This particular one has grommets and elastic, so you can tie it way out and get behind it and be camouflaged. If you want, you can even put it on and wear it. This particular one has sleeves, so it's just always good to have a little bit of extra fabric, especially if you are in an area you're going to be in for a while and you want to build a blind. And with that, I also make sure that I have a little bit of extra rope in my vest, and I also like to carry zip ties. Zip ties are quick, you don't have to worry about knots, and they're easy just to remove after you're done using them. Put them back in your vest to throw away. It's just simple and quick. Always have a set of small binoculars in my pack. This comes in really handy. You got something far off, you saw some movement, something sneaking through the brush, you don't know if it's a turkey, is it a deer, what is it? Binocular will really help you out. It'll keep you from wasting time watching a raccoon over here when the turkey's coming in from over here. So having binoculars is a good way to identify your bird as well and see what's going on. So a good set of binoculars are handy. Another must-have, whether you're running and gunning or you're in the blind, is repellent. Lyme disease is really prevalent. Ticks are really bad this year. Mosquitoes, I don't have to tell you guys how bad the bugs are. I love the Thermacell. Turkeys can't smell enough that it triggers a fear response in them. So Thermacell works great. I love it. Thank God turkeys can't smell. I don't think we'd ever shoot one. But Thermacell's a good idea. Some off. Make sure that this is on before you get in the woods and you're sprayed up before you get in the woods. A little bit of extra stuff I like to take to make sure that whatever hunter I'm bringing along, especially a youth, is comfortable and has what they need, are some hand warmers. Nothing worse than having some cold hands and the kids getting cold because then they're miserable and they want to go home early. Also, I always carry a spare set of gloves and some type of spare face mask. Those are the first two things that everybody always forgets, so I like to have extra. And also I like to make sure I have a mask that's really unobtrusive for a youth hunter or another hunter that rides way away from their face, that they still have really good field of vision, can see very well out of, but completely masks their blinking, their eye movement, and their face and all that light coloring. So it's really handy whether you're using a quick camo style hat or something like this. It's a good idea to have one, but it's always a good idea to have an extra. Maybe you'll forget yours and be glad you had this in your pack. Now, most vests, and one of the reasons I do like having an oversized turkey vest, is that it has a spot in the back of the vest to put your turkey. On public land, I feel it's really important to be cautious about bringing your turkey out of the woods. You know, if it's on your back and you're using a lanyard type tote and you have him slung over your back, it'd be a good idea to have a little bit of extra orange with you. I just have this orange square. I go ahead and I lay that over top of the bird. That way that bird is totally visible when I'm walking out of public land. Almost all the vests that you will see, and sometimes it's hidden so you'll have trouble finding it, but most of them have a compartment in the back that will have a flag, a nice hunter's orange flag on it. So check your vest out. It might be there and you don't even know it. But if it is there and you're carrying your turkey over your back, please use it. Other than that, these pouches are really nice, and it takes a lot of the weight off your back and puts it on your hips. So if you're like me and you're on public land and you've really hoofed in an actual mile, a mile and a half, it's really a lot nicer to drag that turkey out with him tucked into your vest. One of the other essential items that I think anytime you go turkey hunting is a good set of pruners. There's nothing worse than getting set up, sit down, even when you're in a hurry, and just a few feet in front of you, right in your line of shot, is some multiflora rose or some other small saplings or brush. And having one of these and just a little quick trip out to whatever yardage you think you're going to shoot from, trimming some lanes, they're really handy to have. It'll save you from snapping things and making extra noise as well, because these are nice and quiet. So another great item to have in your vest. Some of my little Ziploc bag specialties that I carry all the time so they don't get wet. I have extra chalk for my box calls, so I always have a little bit of that. This bag has an extra pen and a zip tie for putting on my tag. This bag, really important. All of my permission slips are in here and all of my maps are in here. I like to not only have maps of the area, but I will pre-print the boundary areas of the property that I'm on, whether it's public or not. That way if I run into somebody and there's a little bit of contention about where I'm at or where they are, we can just friendly look at the map and get a good idea of where we actually are. Plus, if you get lost, it's also very helpful. But permission slips and maps. This bag here has some gloves in it, also has some extra large Ziploc freezer bags. If I have it's a hot day and I'm going to be packing stuff out and I want to save the gizzard, the heart, and the liver, I'm going to go ahead and just throw that in there so it's not messy. And then I can just throw that right in my pack without worry. And of course some toilet paper, because you just really never know what's going to happen in the woods, right? One of the most important things that you can have in your turkey vest is an oatmeal cream pie. Now, a lot of you already know this. There's been discussions on a lot of the turkey forums about oatmeal cream pies. I don't think that there should be a debate about whether or not you should have one. The debate should be more, does it need to be a double stuffed or just a regular oatmeal cream pie? But seriously, having some snacks, having some water in your pack is very important, especially if you have a youth hunter with you. You want to be able to keep them occupied and satisfied in those times where things are a little slow. So any type of snack is always good to have, and definitely some water. So I am one of those guys that carries just about every call I own on every turkey trip. Now, let's be honest, I'm only going to use the same 3 just about every time. But there's every once in a while that I'll have a bird hung up where it's going to take something that I haven't used in a while. Maybe something that's really high pitched, something that's really loud, something that's soft. Maybe it's a wing bone or trumpet style call. So I make sure that I carry all those. I always carry this. This is one of my favorite calls. This is an old Primos rear wing that I've replaced the feathers on probably 5 or 6 times over the years to imitate fly down and feeding in the leaves. This is, for me, this is a really important call, and I always make sure that I have it. Always have a great selection of different calls. I'm not going to go into the woods without 7 or 8 different pot calls, box calls, friction calls. I always make sure that I have a good selection of diaphragm calls as well. We're not done yet. There's still more. So, flashlight. I'm not going to ever use this flashlight when I walk in, but I'm going to have it if it's the end of the season and we're allowed to hunt all day. I want to make sure that I can get out of the woods safely, make sure that whatever youth I'm with or other person can see without tripping if they're unfamiliar with the woods. So make sure you have a flashlight. So these are locator calls. I do use the owl hooter a lot, but I love the crow calls. I have several woodpecker calls as well. I have a coyote, but I don't use that very often. I do use the owl a lot. But the crow call for me is probably one of my #1 things that's in my hand as I'm moving around from spot to spot, running and gunning. If I'm coming into a blind area, a field edge, coming out of a thicket, going into a thicket, and I want to make sure that there's not a gobbler right there that I can't see because it's too thick, I'll hit that crow call loud and hard. And if he's there, he gives himself away, and I know I got to be more stealthy or stop, get positioned, and call from there. And if I don't hear anything, I know that I can move on to the next thing. One of the last things in my turkey vest is kind of a specific item, but it's been an item that I have been without, and it has ruined a hunt. You can find yourself walking, a long way, getting set up. This particular hunt I'm talking about was with a youth using a crossbow. We get into position, we're there, birds are coming in, and the battery on the scope is burned out. So I always have a spare battery. And I know some of the compartments in some of the scopes now have a spare battery compartment. That's great. I still carry a spare because that youth was unable to shoot it all and the birds danced at 20 yards for 15 minutes. So a spare battery is a good idea to have with you as well. Well, these are just some of the items that I carry. I hope something in there was beneficial for you. If you have any questions, drop them below, comments as well. And as always, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.